In front of us today is the seasonal weapon Verglas Curve, which by the way has some amazing synergy. Like I know everybody's really focused on Strand right now, but here recently I actually combined this bow with its exotic catalyst and with my Stacy Warlock build, and this has been some of the best stasis synergy I have ever seen. So really guys, don't write off stasis. Between this build and the heavy glaive, which everyone wrote off, stasis is deadlier than ever. Now Verglas Curve is a monster at ad control and ad clearing. Now its intrinsic trait, Hell Barrage, makes it so that the final blows with this weapon grants you stasis arrows, and your next hip fire shots will fire all of them in a single volley. This also has the exotic perk Hellstorm, which states that stasis arrows freeze targets on contact and also create stasis crystals when affecting the environment. Now this is a beautiful perk because it allows you to not use things like Glacial Harvest. Now that Glacial Harvest isn't still good with your other subclass abilities, but for the bow specifically, you're producing stasis crystals just fine with this bow. Now the catalyst actually picks it up another level. You can actually pick up the quest from Banshee. Just like our other seasonal quests though, you gotta get some kills with it, and then you actually have to go through the ritual playlist. Keep in mind guys, if you're looking to really speed this up, you need to get that unlock on your season pass. It's this one right here. This unlock significantly drops the amount of time required to complete this catalyst. By the way, getting progress towards this exotic catalyst doesn't just require you going into the ritual playlist. You can also do the seasonal activity. It may not be the fastest, but you can double dip in this way, as most of you are probably going to be going for deep sight weapons on our seasonal weapons. Check out our seasonal guide. Now what's so nice about this catalyst is that freezing a target grants this weapon faster draw speed for a period of time. Now I am kind of scratching my head a little bit. I do feel like the draw time is definitely improving, although normally we have something on the side of our screen showcasing that the catalyst is at work. Now in my testing, what I found, Verglas took 28 frames for a full draw, but with the exotic catalyst, that actually increases things just slightly. Like when I say slightly, only by about 4 to 6 frames. Now keep in mind guys, this is a lightweight bow, so it already has like naturally very fast draw time. It's actually 580. Needless to say, it's not as noticeable of an increase as say something like Hierarchy of Needs when you create a guidance ring, right? Like that's a very noticeable increase in draw speed. Not so much here for Verglas. Now it is really annoying that we don't actually have a timer on the left hand of our screen showcasing these effects at play, what's the duration of it, all that good stuff. That's really hard for me to tell, and I actually think this is going to be a feature Bungie will eventually add. That'll be a good visible indication of when that increased draw speed is being increased and for how long. As again, the catalyst states freezing any target grants the weapon faster draw speed. So that should be a freeze from pretty much anything. Your grenades, Stacy, your super, all of this should be increasing your draw speed. But again, like I said a second ago, it is a small bump there in draw speed increase. Now Verglas is a stasis weapon guys, so keep in mind the kinetic buffs that went out to our other kinetic weapons. This does not apply to stasis weapons. Bungie even mentioned that stasis weapons won't be doing the 5% more damage over their elemental counterparts, but instead be brought down to that same one-time multiplier. But I do want to mention that Verglas is not really meant to be a damage dealer. Sure, you can utilize certain fragments like Whisper of Rending, which does increase your primary weapon damage by 50% against frozen targets, and that is a significant buff here for this bow. The problem is in order to actually knock a Hell Barrage arrow, you have to get a kill. You're not exactly applying slow with every single shot here. You get a kill, and if you get multiple kills while aiming down sights and never shooting from the hip, you can get 5 of these Hell Barrage arrows, which will allow you to essentially lay out this wall of stasis. To me guys, this bow is more of a synergy bow, a support bow, one in which you can freeze and lock targets in place and then swap to another weapon to go for the shatter. Now what I immediately wanted to know was how does this bow perform with certain builds, most notably our Stacy build. Fellas, today I'm actually going to give you an entire stasis build that will allow you to throw one stasis turret after another turret after another turret. It is insanity how many of these you can put out. On top of that, everything Verglas is doing here is assisting in this madness, because the beautiful thing about Warlock is you have the Aspect Ice Flare bolts, where shattering a frozen target spawns these seekers that track and freeze other nearby targets. Guys, you're able to self-proc this without any abilities, just the bow. But when we combine this with Bleak Watcher and with our new mod system, this is when things start to get crazy. I'm doing these terminal overloads and I'm literally locking the entire battlefield down. Now some mods I want you to utilize is meant purely to feed into this Stacy build alongside Verglas. We're not trying to produce stasis shards. If we were trying to do that, we would be rocking Glacial Harvest. What we're essentially trying to do is just freeze and lock enemies in place and use our mod system to recuperate enough grenade energy in between, as well as our fragments. So we have Whisper of Durance, which increases our slow abilities to last longer. Whisper of Refraction, where defeating slow or frozen targets grants you class ability energy. This is really good, especially considering now you can rock triple bomber perks. I'm also rocking Whisper of Torment, where you gain grenade energy each time you take damage from targets, as well as Whisper of Shards, where shatter shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate, and shattering additional stasis crystals increase the duration of this benefit. This is a beautiful fragment. On top of that, it increases your resilience. Now, the exotic of choice is Osmiomancy, and not just Osmiomancy with 3 grenade kickstart armor mods. Now, the beautiful thing about this, guys, is that we're able to drop the costs of these mods down to just 1 with the artifact mod authorized mods. This actually decreases our grenade mod costs significantly. Guys, this is insanity. But the reason why Osmiomancy is so good is we have the perk Fervent Cold Snap, where your Cold Snap grenades have an additional charge that recharges quicker on direct impacts. Also, the secret spawn from Cold Snap grenades travel further. Now, there are going to be times where maybe you only have 1 grenade. If you throw it directly at a target, you'll hit the target, and if there's other adds around, it can go about freezing. This can actually give you back both of your grenades very, very quickly. But you really don't even have to do that, guys. All you need here is just to convert these Cold Snap grenades into Stacy turrets over and over. Now, we also have Stasis Siphon as our artifact mods. This produces orbs every time we get rapid stasis weapon final blows, which I am getting a lot of stasis related kills. Granted, you can utilize this with whatever weapon you're using as your secondary. For instance, I'm using my Forbearance. If I'm getting a lot of kills with this, you might want to rock Arc Siphon. I'm also taking advantage of Charge Up, which increases the amount of stacks I can have on me, as well as Emergency Reinforcement, where when your shield breaks, you gain a temporary damage reduction. Think Protective Light here, guys. We're also utilizing Stacks on Stack for an extra charge. All of this in combination with Max Discipline, Double Bomber, and our 3 grenade kickstart mods, we now have the ability to freeze literally everything on the battlefield. Guys, it's been a long time since we had a build name. We called this one Stacy's Curves. Yeah, you like that? Listen, Stacy's been carrying us for a very long time. Don't sleep on Stasis, guys. I know everything is about Strand right now, but this one right here, this build, can carry you through so much content simply because it's freezing everything that is walking in front of you. Now, like I said a second ago, this bow isn't exactly a powerhouse, but what it does offer is some of the greatest support I have ever seen. Because when Stacy is down and you're having to get freezes with the bow, you are shattering stasis crystals. It is proccing Whisper of Shards without the use of Stacy. And even though Whisper of Refraction and Whisper of Durance is relying on Bleak Watcher and Stacy, Whisper of Torment and Whisper of Shards can be proccing at all times just from the bow. And the beautiful thing about this is as you are shattering frozen targets, Ice Flare Bolts is also proccing. Now, I know someone's gonna ask, Cross, why not just utilize Glacial Harvest? Freezing targets create stasis shards. You can use that over Ice Flare Bolts. That's good. But to be honest with you guys, the amount of grenade energy I have already with this build, I really don't need the ability top off from those stasis shards. Between Max Discipline, these kickstart mods, and bomber perks, I can have 3 Stacy turrets up at all time, and that's plenty enough for me. I really don't need more than that. And the reason why Ice Flare Bolts is so good is that it improves our bow substantially. So guys, similar to some of the other weapons you've already seen in Lightfall, some are obviously powerhouses. Winter Bite is a powerhouse of a glaive. We did a damage breakdown on that, and it's disgusting. But things like Deterministic Chaos, that is a support-focused weapon. And Verglas Curve also leans into that support avenue, while also just being the deadliest combo to use with Osmiomancy and locking down a battlefield. We may be in a dungeon here at some point in the future, or even a raid where having this many stasis turrets are a necessity. Imagine a room full of tormentors, and you need 3 stasis turrets, and this bow constantly freezing and slowing targets. Now, last thing I do want to mention about this bow, if you're like me, I actually go in and out of my hipfire shot a lot. Sometimes I fire, and I'm letting go of my aim down sight button. This can actually mess you up, as in you can expend your Hell Barrage sooner than you want. Make sure whenever you're actually building charges, you're holding the aim down sight button, whatever that may be for you, and don't let go of that to build those Hell Barrages to get to that ×3, ×4, ×5. And it is a beautiful thing to watch when you're at ×5, freezing an entire group of ads when they come in. So guys, get this bow. The Exotic Catalyst, although not necessary, does offer some benefits. Bungie, I hope you do add a timer at some point, because that would just be a nice quality of life change so that we can actually see when it's proccing, how long it's proccing for. But overall, guys, this is a must-have bow to have for my stasis build users out there. So guys, good luck on the grind. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.